So we're making a sock, and the first thing I'm going to do is select 24 needles. So I'm at right 12 to left 12, and then I'm going to push every other needle back to non-working position. So I've got every other needle selected. I'm going to take my waste yarn, which is the purple. I'm at T2, and I'm going to make one row. Going to clip the end of that so it holds down. I'm going to put a weight on that, and now I'm going to keep all these needles back, so I just want to knit on every other one. And I'm going to do about 8 or 10 rows of waste yarn. I want to end up on the right. So I'm going to clip my waste yarn, and I'm going to get it out of my way so it doesn't interfere. I'm going to put my main yarn in and switch to tension 4. I should be on NN. Now we're at T2 for the mock ribbing. So I'm going to go 16 rows for my mock ribbing. 16. I could have reset my row counter, but I forgot. So now I'm going to take my weights off. Take the comb off. I don't need the comb anymore. And the clips. So now I'm taking my single transfer tool, and to close up the mock ribbing for when I go into stockinette, I'm going to take every loop that's on the that little U-shaped. It kind of looks like a little bar. So we're going to go in there and hang those on the empty needles in between the needles that have stitches on them. This is actually pretty easy to do. You just get your tool right in there. Now I like to take this little stitch here, which is it's going to be tight, and get it on the last needle. But I can't. That one's very tight. Hang it on the last needle that has a stitch on it. And then this tail, I'm going to hang on this. It just closes it up a little nicer. Then I'm going to push everything out to hold or position E, so that when I come by on my next pass, I'm not going to have trouble knitting it off, because it's tight and there's extra stitches on it. Now I'm going to hang my comb, try to get it on the main yarn in there. And I'm going to clip down this tail. And then just for the ankle of the sock. Now it's time to short row the heel. So we've got the ankle, and then we have the cuff, then the ankle, then we're going to do the heel. So to do that, we're going to set the carriage to H on each side. So you should have NH, NH. I'm going to pull out the last needle and knit one row. Then I'm going to take this yarn and go under and wrap it around. Then I'm going to go the furthest needle away from the carriage, and I've knit and wrap around there. Pull the next one out on that side, knit a row, and then I'm going to wrap around that needle. And this is basic short rowing of a heel. Now you've got less stitches here, and now you got 2 more rows in here, so you'll need more weight there. It'll start buckling up. So now we go to the left, and we're going to wrap again. And you're going to need to rehang your weights a lot. We're going to go to the right, wrapping, pull one out, go across, wrap, pull one out, cross, wrap. Now, when you're on the right, you should always have the same number of needles on each side. And then if you're on the left, you'll have one more. So you've got 5 here and 4 here. Now we're going to go to the right, and now we've got 5 and 5. So that's how it's easy to get confused. So you just have to really concentrate and make sure you're doing it in the correct order. So now we got 6 here, so we want 6 here. And the formula for a heel is 1/3 of the stitches, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So since we started with 24, we're going to go down to 8 here, 8 here, and 8 here. Wrap. I'm pulling down with my hands too, just to give it as much tension. So there's going to be 8 there. Now we want to get 8 here. We still wrap. Make sure to get your claw weight in there. Kind of. Now, so that's the bottom portion of the heel, or the kind of the top portion as you're sitting, and then the bottom part, which would be under your heel, this is going to be that. So we're going to push this. Now we're going to start increasing. So we push the first needle furthest away into work. Then we're going to wrap. We're always wrapping so we don't have holes when our sock is done. So wrap, push into work, wrap. So we've got an even number here. Now we're going to push that one in, wrap, push this one in, go across, wrap, push the furthest away, wrap, always wrapping, furthest from the carriage, wrap, furthest, wrap, wrap, wrap. One needle here, we're still wrapping. Still going to wrap with this one. This one's our last one. We're going to put it in work, knit. We don't have to wrap because there's nothing to wrap it on. Get this one in work and go. And we're going to do 30 rows for a medium sock. So we're starting at 0. We're going to do 30 rows at tension 4. Take our carriage off hold and put it in normal. 1. So we're at 30. Now we're going to do the toe. And to do the toe, we do exactly how we did the heel. And so we'll rehang the weights. We're going to go back to hold. Push our furthest needle away. Wrap. So we're still wrapping each time, pulling down with my thumb. It's just easier than hanging the weights each time, but you can do it however you like. So this is my last. So I'm wrapping on that last needle, pushing that back, and wrapping. And there we go. So that's our toe, which looks a lot like our heel, but when the sock is put together, you'll see the difference. There's not much difference, it's just how it fits your foot. So now we've got our heel and toe, and now we want to do the 30 stitches here, and then the 8 stitches there, and then another cuff so we can sew it all back up. So let's go to 38. Now I'm going to take my double-eyed transfer tool, and I'm taking a length of waste yarn, and I'm going to thread my tool, and this is to do the mock rib on the top so it matches the bottom as well as you can. So what I'm going to do is take every needle, every other needle, and sew it off onto the tool, and this is really easy. We're just threading it onto this tool. This is kind of like a lifeline. This is sort of the way you would do a lifeline, but not really, because we're sewing them off. So we're doing every other. So there we go. So we've got all these stitches on the thread, and then I'm going to clip those together. Now we're going to go back to doing mock rib, and we're going to make sure those needles are all the way out of work. And then I'm going to bring the needles that are in work out to hold, because it's going to be easier to get them to knit off again. So I'm going back down to tension 2, taking my carriage off hold, and then I'm going to knit 16 rows. 2, 3. You could have reset your carriage. I was counting in my head, but it's best to reset your carriage so you don't lose your place. Now what we need to do is get our tool back, and the stitches that you knit onto the waste yarn, you're going to hang those onto the bed, so in the empty spots. Now you can see them in there. They may be a little difficult to get to, but you should be able to do it. And if they get tight, you can kind of pull this up and get at them a little better. So then that last one goes there. Good. So I'm going to do one row, and then I'm going to sew it down. So I'm going to go back to tension 4 to make sure, just make it loose enough. I'm kind of holding it down. You can weight it if you want. So now we've closed that up, and I'm going to cut a length of yarn to sew it down. And now I'm doing this from the left side, which I'm not comfortable with, but and the camera's in my way, so excuse my so what I'm going to do is just go in here, pick that up, drop it from the needle, I'm going to go into that one, just picking up that little bar there and kind of sewing this off. And I'm trying to keep it kind of loose so that it still stretches. So here's the finished piece as we take it off the machine. Here's the ribbing where we cast on the heel and the toe and the instep, and then the ribbing on the other end. And so what we're going to do is take off the waste yarn by clipping and pulling, and then we're going to mattress stitch up the